अभय अवतार पावन अभय अवतार श्यामा
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And welcome this evening to our Chaitanya Charitamrita reading and discussion from the unedited, unchanged books of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And that's our regular mantra that we speak, class by class, because part of our preaching is to be able to explain Guru Tattva to the new people that attend these programs. Not only the new people, but some people that are godbrothers and sisters from past years that are still very confused. I had one godbrother make a comment about me online. He called me, "You're a Judas." Hey, Yashoda, I'm a Judas, Judas Iscariot. I'm a blasphemer. Because I tell people that Prabhupada is alive in sound, and you're a Judas. Of course, these things go on, and we understand that. It's a mass confusion, and a lot of people, they think, well, you shouldn't talk about this. You should concentrate on Krishna. Well, that's what we do. If you came to our last program, Das Avatar, I believe you were there, it was the Vyas Puja celebration of Srila Prabhupada. And it was a somewhat spectacular event. In fact, we've already decided at our production team that this will be our main festival of the year. It was spectacular. And especially we got complimented on reading the offering by Srila Prabhupada to his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in 1936 in Bombay, India. And he referred to everyone as gentlemen. He was referring to his godbrothers and explaining very succinctly the real understanding of what it means to be a disciple of a bona fide spiritual master. And we are following in those footsteps. We are all trying to follow in those footsteps. It's not easy, but that's what we're doing. And there's a lot of controversy. Okay, we accept that. Just like the camel train marching, Prabhupada uses the example. And our friend Vinay Sandeep from Bangalore, he reminds me constantly, "Oh, Prabhu, it's like the dogs barking when the camel train is going through the village. Don't be worried about that." Okay, thank you, Sandeep. And that is really the greatest pleasure for Yashoda and myself in terms of the efforts, humble efforts that we are making, is to see all of you becoming fixed up in Prabhupada's mission and your own Bhakti Lata Bija by participating in these weekly sadhana meetings. And by the way, further, there's a lot of by the ways. And I saw Ram Raghavan made a compliment to Mother Shreya. This is a point that we should remember, everyone. What is real renunciation? What is real renunciation? Well, real renunciation is you take the talents and abilities that you have, and if you so choose, money, and you engage it in Krishna's service, in the mission of Prabhupada. That is real renunciation. Not wearing pink robes and trying to displace the bona fide spiritual master by you becoming guru. Well, people don't like that, but it's a fact. We're not making things up, and we're not mad. Not at all. Our job is to tell the truth. That's our job. Just a sec. Ralph, please. I'm just on the set. So the fact of the matter is that real renunciation means to take your talents and abilities and dovetail them in Krishna's service. And Ram Raghava, you're very kindly congratulating her And we do appreciate her hard work. I must say, Yashodanandana Prabhu, she pushes a hard pencil. She does not. The other night, we worked on this opening edit for us as a group, and thank you for your additional information, and we put it succinctly together, and we spent 5 hours solid until I finally had to excuse myself from my chair because I had to. And she is just simply inspired to serve Prabhupada, and she wants to move ahead with initiation, by the way. So we're going to sponsor her for the next ceremony and be in touch with her with the details. But this is the idea, is that people are stepping up and they're doing their best, and there's a lot more to come, everyone. Oh yes. This is, the train is just getting started, despite the dogs barking at the camels. Sorry, we're not on a camel train, we're on a high-speed diesel train, sorry, and we're going forward. And we're going to keep on, keep on. That's what the saying is. You keep on. And it's a blissful experience for all of us. I know we all are feeling it. And what else has he got here? He's sending me messages to all of us. I don't want to miss, because he is. Ram Raghava, things should be accepted by the Lord's service and not for one's personal satisfaction. If one accepts something without attachment and accepts it because it is related to Krishna, renunciation is called yukta vairagya. So since Krishna is the absolute truth, whatever is accepted for his service is also the absolute truth. Perfect. So thank you, everyone. Did you enjoy the program, Yashodananda? The Vyasa Puja? I know I'm not going to disclose, but when he heard some of the offerings from all of you, it really was, for both of us, very moving. And thank you very much. Of course, I got moved when I didn't realize how long Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja speech was to his godbrothers, Prabhu? I didn't realize it was going to be a half hour. I was reading and I thought, Jesus, it's got to be over soon. I didn't mind. One thing about Yashodananda Prabhu, one thing about him, he has unlimited energy to read Shastra, believe me. So if he's not reading, but everybody else is reading, he's got unlimited energy to hear. And I don't want to embarrass him, but this is reality. We know it. He can out marathon all of us. I can tell you that right now when it comes to hearing Prabhupada. It's just in him. Now don't nod your head that it isn't. Come on, Prabhu. We know you are. I don't care what you say. He is a marathon man when it comes to hearing Prabhupada's glorious scriptures and pastimes. And that's what we all strive for as well, that we want to do it. And like I said, we'll march on. We've got a lot to do, and we've got a very good team. And the point that I want to make is this. If any of you, anyone in this group, wants to participate, you're welcome. Just call us up. There's a new closing slide that's going to be coming. I don't know if we're showing it tonight or on Saturday, Yashodananda Prabhu, but the new closing slideshow has 5 people to contact. There's yourself, there's myself, there's Bhaktaran Singh, and there's Vinay, also very enthusiastic, and one other person. Sorry, I can't remember. But there's 5 of us, yourself and myself and those 2 and one other. So we'll see it hopefully at the end of the show. So you can reach us by WhatsApp or by our email addresses and ask us any questions you want. And we're happy to discuss them with you. And if anybody wants to be on that slide, they want their information shared, tell us. so that we have permission from you, and you can be a contact person for people, new people, Dasa Avatar, that you're preaching to, or people in your area that want to learn the truth about the Krishna conscious philosophy that's unadulterated, unchanged, and completely pure, without any material tinge of personal motivation. It's very important to do that. And we're going to go forward here with the next section of our program, which is, we're going to read a small section from the Krishna book. And this section is the talks between Krishna and Rukmini, because we're moving forward in multiple readings. As you all know, we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're reading Krishna book, we're reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we have other small books that we've been reading in between all along in the program, in the programs that we're conducting. So lots of information and education for everybody in this effort to get fixed up in Krishna consciousness and go back home, back to Godhead at the time of death. So here we are. My Lord, you have stated that only the beggars praise your glories, and that is also perfectly correct. But who are those beggars? Very interesting question, isn't it? Well, here's the answer. Those beggars are all exalted devotees, liberated personalities, and those in the renounced order of life. They are all great souls and devotees who have no other business than to glorify you. Such great souls forgive even the worst offender. Yes, we do. But we don't associate with them. These so-called beggars execute their spiritual advancement in life, tolerating all kinds of tribulations in the material world. The dogs are barking, that's for sure. My dear husband, do you not think that out of my inexperience, I accepted you as my husband? Actually, I followed all these great souls. I followed the path of the great beggars and decided to surrender my life unto your lotus feet. So by association, as Prabhupada describes it here, of the great devotees, the exalted devotees are the beggars. We're begging people to take up Krishna consciousness. And it's unfortunate, people are not interested. They aren't. We've had so many people come by, they stop, they take a look, and they run away. They don't want to hear the philosophy. They don't. And if it was different, I'd say it was different, but there's a reason why. They're not interested. That's it. I followed the path of these great beggars and decided to surrender my life unto your lotus feet. You have said that you are penniless, and that is correct. You distribute yourself completely to these great souls and devotees. Knowing this fact perfectly well, I rejected even such great personalities like Lord Brahma and King Indra. My Lord, the great time factor acts under your direction only. The time factor is so great and powerful that within moments, it can affect devastation anywhere within the creation. Considering all these factors, I thought Jarasandha, Sisupal, and similar other princes who wanted to marry me to be no more important than ordinary insects. After reading that Vyas Puja offering from Srila Prabhupada the other day, I felt we all had that same realization. We are insignificant insects beside our Guru, Srila Prabhupada, who articulated so perfectly Dasa Avatar, our Krishna conscious philosophy, to educate us on how to practice this process without any confusion. And he was preaching to his God brothers. Gentlemen, please. Your statement, and you have taken, my dear powerful son of Vyasadeva, thank you. Your statement that you have taken shelter within the water of the ocean, being unafraid of all the great princes, is quite suitable. But my experience with you contradicts this. I have actually seen that you kidnapped me forcibly in the presence of all these princes. Yes, Krishna did. At the time of my marriage ceremony, simply by giving a jerk to the string of your bow, you very easily drove the others away and kindly gave me shelter at your lotus feet. I still remember vividly that you kidnapped me in the same way as a lion forcibly takes his share of hunted booty, driving away all the other smaller animals with the twinkling of an eye. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, I cannot understand your statement that women and other persons who have taken shelter under your lotus feet pass their days only in bereavement. From the history of the world, we can see that princes like Anga, Prithu, Bharata, Yayati, and Gaya were all great emperors of this world, and there was no competition to their exalted positions. But in order to achieve the favor of your lotus feet, they renounced their exalted positions and entered into the forest to practice penances and austerities. When they voluntarily accepted such a position, accepting your lotus feet as all in all, does it mean that they were in lamentation and bereavement? My Lord, dear Lord, you've advised me that I can still select from the princely order and divorce myself of your companionship. But my dear Lord, it is perfectly well known to me that you are the reservoir of all good qualities. Great saintly persons like Narada Muni are always engaged simply in glorifying your transcendental characteristics. If someone simply takes shelter of such a saintly person, he immediately becomes freed from all material contamination. That saintly person in the context of our group is His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He is the transcendental connection to the spiritual world via media of the spiritual, bona fide spiritual master. And by coming in direct contact with your service, the goddess of fortune agrees to bestow all of her blessings under the circumstances that women has once heard of your glories from authoritative sources and somehow or other has tasted the nectarian flavor of your lotus feet, can be foolish enough to agree to marry someone of the material world who is always afraid of death, disease, old age, and birth. I have therefore accepted your lotus feet, not without consideration, but after mature and deliberate decision. My dear Lord, you are the master of the three worlds. You can fulfill all the desires of all your devotees in the world. And the next, because you are the super soul of everyone, I have therefore selected you as my husband, considering you to be the only fit personality. You may throw me in any species of life according to the reactions of my fruitive activities, and I haven't the least concern for this. My own ambition is that I may always remain fast to your lotus feet, because you can deliver your devotees from the illusory material existence, and you are prepared to distribute yourself to your devotees. And we'll end there. But a very deep explanation of how we should cultivate our relationship with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of Rukmini. Yes. And Prabhupada so beautifully explained that to us tonight at this reading and discussion of Chaitanya Charitamrita with a slight deviation to Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto. So thank you very much, everyone. And thank you again for supporting our efforts to distribute the Delhi Bhagavatams globally. It's not an easy task. People are not very much interested in reading these days. The Kali Yuga is advancing at a very high level. But at the same time, I say this to all of us, and it's a song I wrote called Never Give Up. When it doesn't work out, we'll find another way. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's see, closely we'll have contact details of all those people. Oh, Vijay Pandit and Vinay Sandeep. Yeah, Vijay Pandit, sorry. Rupa Goswami, Ron Singh, myself, and this is 6. And if anybody, we didn't want to put people's names up that we didn't contact, because some people, they prefer to remain steady in what they're doing without people reaching out. But if you're interested on any level to work with us in the distribution of the Bhagavatams, the creation of our new books, the production of our shows, we're always looking for people's opinions. So you can send your opinions and we'll consider them. And at the same time, we'll move forward with the next part of the program, which is Rupa Goswami. It's a speech by Srila Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu, it's a lecture by Srila Prabhupada. It's a little over 4 minutes and it's entitled, Religion Means the Codes and the Laws Given by God.
Roll on.
The aim of life is to go back to home, back to Godhead. That is the aim of life. We are fallen in this material condition of life. You are suffering, but you do not know. We are so full, just like animals. We do not know what is the aim of life. Aim of life, that is also described in the Bhagavad Gita, Jarma Mittu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dushan Darshanam. When we can understand that this process of repetition of birth, death, old age and disease, this is not wanted by me. Nobody wants to die, but the death is forced upon him. He does not think that this is my problem. I do not want to die, but death is as sure as anything. So this is the problem. Nobody is careful how to solve this problem. They are simply engaged in the, temporary problems. The temporary problems are not problems. Real problem is how to stop death, how to stop birth, how to stop old age, and how to stop disease. That is it. That can be done when you are liberated from this material world. This is our problem. So, Krishna comes here again. Jada jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata. Dharmasya glani. Glani means when it is distorted. So people are manufacturing in the name of so-called religion. This is our religion, this is Hindu religion, this is Muslim religion, this is Christian religion, this is Buddha religion, and this is Sikh religion, this is that religion, that religion. They have manufactured so many religions. So many religions. But real religion is Dharmantu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Religion means the codes and the laws given by the Lord, given by God. That is religion. Simple definition of religion. is dharmanta sakshat bhagavat pradita. Just like law is given by the state, by the government. You cannot manufacture law. I have repeatedly said. Law is made by the government. Similarly, religion is made by God. If you accept God's religion, then that is religion. And what is God's religion? If you stand, you can stand here, other people are standing. God's religion is, you'll find in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam vraja. This is God's religion. You give up all this nonsense religion. You become a devotee, a surrendered soul unto me. That is religion.
Manufactured religions. There's so many of them, Prabhupada just said. It's very interesting that they've manufactured all these so-called acharyas in the group that Prabhupada founded. Manufactured. And one of them just sent me a note. He said, if your guru falls down, then go select another one. And if that one falls down, go pick another one. It sounds like Tom Hanks going to pick chocolates in a chocolate box. This is concoction. And that's what we're saying. Be a Prabhupada disciple. Surrender your life to him. And work with us to spread Krishna consciousness, not manufactured, but under his direction. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to go to the next section of the program, which is the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. And then we're going to have the reading and discussion of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there's our friends from Mexico, Kishore, Krishna Kishore. I see he's putting up the heart bubble. Thank you, Prabhu. Great preacher in Mexico and South America, him and his wife. And a pleasure to have their association when I go back there next month to visit them. All glories to the Sankirtan movement. Let's have the chanting. Hare Krishna.
Side. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram cheva narottamam Naram cheva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Tato Jayam Udirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Naranarayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on the original Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the original non-adulterated version. Everything that we'll be reading today, all the translations, purports, and the word for word is from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityānanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Glory to Sri Chaitanya and Nityānanda. Glory to Advaita Chandra, and glory to all the devotees of Sri Gaura, Lord Chaitanya. Itina Thakur Gaudiya ki karye chena yatmasad, itinera charana vandan tire morenat. These 3 deities of Vrindavana, Madan Mohan, Govinda, and Gopinatha, have absorbed the heart and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, followers of Lord Chaitanya. I worship their lotus feet, for they are the lords of my heart. Granterarambe Karimangala Charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benedictions. Tinera Smaraneai Vigna Vinashana Anayaseai Nija Vanchita Purana. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. Simangala Charanoi Trivida Prakar Vastu Nirdesha Chirvada Namaskara. The invocation involved three processes: defining the objective, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. Let us proceed with the specific text from today. We are reading from Adi Lila, chapter 5, text 229. Janra Prana Dan Nityānanda Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Bhakti Vine Nahi Jani Anya Yanra, whose Prana Dana, life and soul, Nityānanda Sri Chaitanya, Lord Nityānanda and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna, to Krishna and Radharani, Bhakti, devotional service, Vinay, accept, Nahi Jani Anya, do not know anything else. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityānanda are their life and soul. They do not know anything but devotional service to Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Text 220, 230. Se Vaishnavara Padarenu Tarapada Choi Adamera Dila Prabhu Nityānanda Doi. Se Vaishnavara, of all those Vaishnava, Padarenu, the dust of the feet, Tara, there, Padachaya, the shade of the feet, Adamere, unto this fallen soul, Dila gave, Prabhu Nityānanda Daya, the mercy of Lord Nityānanda Prabhu. Translation. The dust and shade of the lotus feet of the Vaishnavas have been granted to this fallen soul by the mercy of Lord Nityānanda. Text 231. Tanra sarva labhya hoy prabhura vachan se sutra etara koila vivaran tanha, at that place, sarva, everything, labhya, obtainable, oya, is, prabhura, of the Lord, vachana, the word, se sutra, that synopsis, this, tara, his, koila vivarana, has been described. Translation. Lord Nityānanda said, in Vrindavan, all things are possible. Here I've explained his brief statement in detail. Text 232. Se saba painuami Vrindavane ai, se saba labhya e prabhura kripai, se sabha, all this, painu, got, ami, I, Vrindavane, to Vrindavana, aya, coming, se sabha, all this, labhya, obtainable, this, Prabhura Kripaya, by the mercy of Lord Nityānanda. Translation. I have attained all this by coming to Vrindavana, and this was made possible by the mercy of Lord Nityānanda. Purport. All the inhabitants of Vrindavana are Vaishnavas. They're all auspicious because somehow or other they always chant the holy name of Krishna. Even though some of them do not strictly follow the rules and regulations of devotional service, On the whole, they are devotees of Krishna and chant his name directly or indirectly, purposely or without purpose. Even when they pass on the street, they are fortunate enough to exchange greetings by saying the name of Radha and Krishna or Krishna. Thus, directly or indirectly, they are auspicious. The present city of Vrindavana has been established by the Gaudiya Vaishnavas since the 6 Goswamis went there and directed the construction of their different temples. Of all the temples in Vrindavana, 90% belong to the Gaudiya Vaishnava sect, the followers of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityānanda, and 7 temples are very famous. The inhabitants of Vrindavana do not know anything but the worship of Radha and Krishna. In recent years, some unscrupulous so-called priests, known as caste Goswamis, have introduced the worship of demigods privately, but no genuine and rigid Vaishnavas participate in this. Those who are serious about the Vaishnava method of devotional service do not take part in such worship of demigods. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas never differentiate between Radha Krishna and Lord Chaitanya. They say that since Lord Chaitanya is the combined form of Radha Krishna, he is not different from Radha Krishna. But some misled people try to prove that they are greatly elevated by saying that they like to chant the holy name of Lord Gaura instead of the names Radha and Krishna. Thus, they purposely differentiate between Lord Chaitanya and Radha Krishna. According to them, the system of Nityānanda, which they have recently invented in their fertile brains, is the worship of Gaura, Lord Chaitanya, but they do not like to worship Radha and Krishna. They put forward the argument that since Lord Chaitanya himself appeared as Radha and Krishna combined, there is no necessity of worshiping Radha and Krishna. Such differentiation by so-called devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered disruptive by pure devotees. Anyone who differentiates between Radha, Krishna, and Gauranga is to be considered a plaything in the hands of Maya. There are others who are against the worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thinking him mundane. But any sect that differentiates between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna, either by worshiping Radha Krishna as distinct from Lord Chaitanya, or by worshiping Lord Chaitanya but not Radha Krishna, is in the group of Prakrita Sahajiyas. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, predicts in verses 225 and 226 that in the future, those who manufacture imaginary methods of worship will gradually give up the worship of Radha Krishna, and although they will call themselves devotees of Lord Chaitanya, they will also give up the worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and fall down into material activities. For the real worshippers of Lord Chaitanya, the ultimate goal of life is to worship Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. Text 233. Apanara kataliki nirlaja hoya Nityānanda gune lekaya unmatokariya. Apanara, personal. Kata, description. Liki, I write. Nirlaja hoya, being shameless. Nityānanda gune, the attributes of Nityānanda. Lekaya, cause to write. Unmattakariya, making like a madman. Translation. I have described my own story without reservations. The attributes of Lord Nityānanda making me like a madman forced me to write these things. Text 234. Nityānanda Prabhu guna mahimaya par sahasrabadane sheshanahi payayandra Nityānanda Prabhura of Lord Nityānanda, Guna Mahima, glories of transcendental attributes, Apara, unfathomable, Sahasrabhadane, in thousands of mouths, Shesha, ultimate end, Nahi, does not, Paya, get, Yanra, whose, translation. The glories of Lord Nityananda's transcendental attributes are unfathomable. Even Lord Shesha, with his thousands of mouths, cannot find their limit. Text 235. Sri Rupa Raguna Pade Yara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishna Das Sri Rupa Srila Rupa Goswami Raghunatha Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pade, at the lotus feet, Yara, whose, Asha, expectation, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the book name Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kahe, describes, Krishna Dasa, Srila Krishna Dasa, Kaviraj Goswami, translation. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Dasa, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 5th chapter, describing the glories of Lord Nityānanda Balarama. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadana Srinam Danteridam Yachi Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadaso asmi sarvata tat kripa pikshako nityam tat prishta satakaromisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This particular chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita is very, very important. As we have seen, there is very detailed description of the ontological position of Lord Nityānanda Prabhu and Lord Advaita Prabhu. This is very significant because in order for a devotee to progress in spiritual life, he has to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nityānanda. So somebody may say, well, that was like 400, 500 years ago. How do we reach Nityānanda now? By taking shelter of the representative of Lord Nityānanda. That is His Divine Grace, Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the current representative of Lord Nityānanda, who has carried the message of Lord Nityānanda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world, fulfilling the prediction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, this is very important because as one progresses in spiritual life, Gradually, occasionally, one will come in contact with different groups, just like Prabhupada mentions, some caste Goswami who introduced demigod worship in Vrindavan. We have seen similar attempts in the Prabhupada society with people attempting to bring demigod worship in Prabhupada society, and many other concocted imaginary processes of worship. Srila Prabhupada established a society with very definitive means and ways of practicing, such how to offer artik, how to offer Guru Puja, how to offer Vyasa Puja, how to offer obeisances, how to carry on the devotional activities. Everything was established by 1977. And by the whimsical behavior of some misguided and ambitious individuals, within a few months, all of that was changed on account of whimsical, independent behavior. There is no instruction from Srila Prabhupada in the last few months of his manifested presence to totally change all the practices and rituals that he established. You will not find such instruction. Now, some have concocted, well, Prabhupada appointed some gurus and we have to worship the gurus. No, Prabhupada did not appoint any gurus or Diksha gurus. That's another concoction. It's important. We cannot make advancements in spiritual life by whimsical, independent, concocted behavior, manufacturing behaviors. And this is what we have repeatedly seen from some ambitious individuals trying to usurp Srila Prabhupada's position. Now, nobody has to become a victim. Somebody can protect themselves. Somebody says, well, how do I protect myself? Read Prabhupada's books. Read Prabhupada's instructions. Chant Hare Krishna the way that Prabhupada predicted it. It is no secret that some of these so-called self-appointed acharyas do not chant properly. They're the ones who have introduced all these concocted, whimsical procedures. These concoctions were not on the basis of Prabhupada's directives or statements. They were born of mental speculation, claiming that they follow tradition, claiming that they follow this person or that person. So many independent, nonsensical ideas were introduced, and they're still introduced in that society. Sometimes people ask, well, who authorized you in Vishwakarma to do what you're doing? Srila Prabhupada did. He told us to preach. He never told us to stop. And part of preaching is to bring new people into Krishna consciousness. It's not very difficult. It's not a complicated thing. Simply want us to follow the example and the standards established by Srila Prabhupada. What did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami tell us at the end of this chapter? He says that he followed the direction of Nityānanda Prabhu, who told him, go to Vrindavan. All things are possible when you go to Vrindavan. He followed the instruction of Sri Nityānanda Prabhu and eventually compiled one of the most wonderful literatures in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the exalted Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada similarly followed the instruction of his Guru Maharaj, went to the West after considerable personal inconveniences and health challenges, and he established a wonderful society. Now, any problem that we see are due to neglect and disobedience of the instructions and orders of the spiritual master, individually and collectively. Now, this is not a very difficult point to understand. This is not some mindless criticism. This is not a personal attack upon any individual or group of individuals. This is how to follow the instructions and teachings of Srila Prabhupada. Many times as part of this program, we use the word non-adulterated, original and non-adulterated teachings. When they change Prabhupada's books, when they change Prabhupada's practices, when they change Prabhupada's instruction, when they concoct so many things that deviates from the potency of the original teachings. And then they wonder why there's so many problems. Why so many of the temples are empty. Why so many of the devotees have departed from that society. Why? Because of concoction. Why was Prabhupada's message and preaching so potent? Because he didn't concoct, he didn't deviate. He called this Bhagavad Gita as it is. We must follow as it is. It's not difficult. It's not something that's very complicated. It only becomes complicated when there is personal motivation, personal agenda. Prabhupada often said, Krishna consciousness is very simple for the innocent and very difficult for the crooked. Those who are crooked and infected and contaminated by the disease of pratishta, profit, adoration, distinction, for them it's very difficult to understand anything. If you ask them, why have you changed this, have you changed that, they will say, well, Prabhupada said, we're the managers, we can do whatever we want. Where did you get this nonsense idea from? Krishnadas Kaviraj is repeatedly paying obeisances at the end of every chapter at the lotus feet of Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityānanda. He's not thinking, I'm a big devotee, I can do whatever I want. No. He's presenting himself as a humble servant. Raghunath Das Goswami, in one of his writings, which we say every time we have these classes, he repeats, Adanad stridam danter idam yachi punaha punaha. Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dulisyam Janma Janmani. That I take a piece of straw in my mouth and I offer my repeated prostrated obeisances. Here, Prabhu, thank you. Clasping a straw between my teeth, I repeatedly beg to attain the dust of the lotus feet of Srimad Rupa Goswami, birth after birth. This is the same message that Prabhupada repeats on the Jaladuta. He's repeating the same message in his poetry. This is the same message that Krishnadas Kaviraj is repeating in every page of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Look at this last verse. He says, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Now, this is a very important point because some people don't get it. Krishna consciousness is not simply a business of making money or posing and posturing. This is not what it's all about. Our mission is to follow the examples and precept, the original pure precept of the original acharyas. If we follow that, then we can understand the mystery of Krishna consciousness. Then we can understand what is Prabhupada teaching us. What are the previous acharyas teaching us? Otherwise, one will become very confused. We saw different examples in the Krishna consciousness movement, especially in 1990s for a few years, of a group of devotees who manufactured a Gopi Baba club, along with an advisor, a senior advisor from the Neo-Mat. They were thinking this is a very advanced teachings of Krishna consciousness. Did Prabhupada tell these people to do this? Nope. Did Prabhupada give them instruction to do this? Nope. And the result is a complete sahaja misinterpretation of Prabhupada's teaching. Every class, we see that Vishwakarma Prabhu is very patiently reading from the Krishna book. He's not jumping to the Rasa Leela here. He's not jumping to some secret esoteric teachings. No, he's simply repeating what Srila Prabhupada has mercifully given. Every word, every sentence, every paragraph. This is what we have to do. And be aware, do not be victimized by the propaganda of the neo-Sahajiyas. The neo-Sahajiyas will mislead you, thinking that somebody from some neo-mat has got the real scoop on the teachings of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the real Rasika teachings. That Prabhupada, he just gave the basic fundamentals. This is very offensive. Do not be victimized by this nonsense. To whom it may concern. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you. Once again, more information for us on the facts of life. You know, people want to know what the facts of life are. But the real facts of life are beyond eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The facts of life are what is the truth. And the truth can be obscured by people who are interested in material life, not in spiritual life. And they use that truth to advance themselves. And Prabhupada coined it the guru business. It's a very interesting thing, and people wanted us to speak about Krishna. I was talking to Ron Singh before the class this evening, Bhakta Ron Singh, and I mentioned to him that we are simply explaining the truth of the matter on these subjects. We're not deviating from what Prabhupada wanted us to preach. Like someone would say, we should talk about the Bhakta program, how to talk about Krishna. Well, we are. And when you read the purports from Srila Prabhupada, they deal with all these issues. It's an ongoing dialogue between devotees, just like in the government. There's ongoing debate that goes on. Sure. Whether you're a liberal or a conservative, they're debating. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, they're debating like crazy. One side saying one thing, the other side saying another thing, and they just go back and forth. It's enough to drive you crazy if you watch it. All this mundanity, this mundane, prajalpa, useless conversation. And that's all it is. It's sound pollution. And it completely destroys the mind of the listener. Whereas the Srimad Bhagavatam, by hearing constantly, Nasta Prayeshu Abradeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki, by hearing constantly Srimad Bhagavatam from the original sources that are bona fide, that will purify you of all inauspiciousness in the heart. That will purify you because it is the cure for the material disease. So at any rate, Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. Excuse me, please. I'm on the air here, a global broadcast. It's simple for the simple, difficult for the crooked. And in this way, we can make our way in spiritual life without any difficulty if we follow the simple path. What is the simple path? Chant your rounds. 16 rounds a day. Hear the Srimad Bhagavatam daily by attending the classes 3 times a week. If you have not got the schedule that allows you to come to study every day, then try to make time. And if you can't make the time, then you can also go to the YouTube channel which is 24 hours, and go back, like, for example, the Vyas Puja celebration that we had the other day was so ecstatic. And you can go back to these programs and hear the philosophy being discussed in association with like-minded devotees. A lot of people, Yashodanandana Prabhu, are, I call them lonesome wolves. They're by themselves. The wolf runs in the forest by himself. He may get with a pack if he's lucky, but he may not. But he's still on the hunt. So there's a lot of independent people. I've been speaking to devotees today about that, and this independence. And I encourage them, yes, carry on. You want to make your own website? Go ahead. We've had some people in our group, they've segregated off. They're going to go make their own website. Good. It's a lot of work. And you'll do good if you speak the truth, where that's up to you. If you know the truth, if you've got the experience, if you've had the experience, go ahead. But here, this organization, Prabhupada's Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society, we have momentum as a group. Yes, we do. And we're moving towards 1,000 hours of production online, 1,000 hours. And we're constantly improving our production through teamwork, not one person. It's a teamwork that's coming together. The books are being distributed as a team. We printed them as a team. Everybody gave donations. We were able to create this opportunity, and we're planning to move ahead with many more projects. And by the way, just to deviate for a minute, if you want to participate, I see that Mother Shreya Devi Dasi put up the list. There's 7 people now on the list that you can contact. And that's Rupa Goswami in Bombay, of course, who's really stepped up his focus at this time in his life and is always engaged every week in our productions and other projects that I keep loading on him. Vijaya Pandit in Italy, Vinay Sandeep, who's a new enthusiastic bhakta who's soon to be initiated, and Bhakta Ron Singh, who's, I call him my secret weapon. He called up recently Trivikram. Oh, Trivikram, it's Bhakta Ron Singh. But Ron Singh has 2 guns loaded, double barrels, and he's ready to proceed with what's going on in that group. So lots of, it's funny. It's a secret weapon of ours. We have a lot of secret weapons and spies, by the way. Oh yeah. There's such a thing as diplomacy. There's such a thing as intrigue. In these pastimes, now, notice the term pastimes. These are the pastimes of who? A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, and his bona fide disciples. It's a pastime. And by the way, just so all of you know, we are initiating new people. What is the reason? So there are more Prabhupada disciples when we leave this world. They will carry on with the mission, and this legacy will never die in the hands of people that are working with us to protect Prabhupada's legacy for the next 10,000 years. That's our goal. And that's very important. We can see in other groups, Das Avatar. These people become so-called, Yashoda, the more I look at the thing, it's people that couldn't do anything in the society, in the regular human society. They couldn't make money. They couldn't make a career. They couldn't get a job. But they come in the Krishna consciousness movement in association with Prabhupada originally. And he was so powerful, he pulled them up. And instead of pushing other people up, they push themselves up. And then when they die, they disappear, and all their followers will scatter into an insignificant eternal existence of nothing and nobodies. That's what it is. They come, they go. Only if we focus on Prabhupada, then you can become great. And then we're not interested in personal aggrandizement, but Krishna will glorify you. Prabhupada will recognize you, and in this way you'll go back to Godhead by the mercy of your service to him. And we've got another section, and we'll go to some questions in a minute. But Nityānanda Prabhu here's the book here. And if you're interested in a copy, I believe they might be available, and we'll be happy to try to send it to you. It's called Acharya for the Golden Age. It's a unique historical position, the unique historical position of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, His Divine Grace. And we're going to read a small bit of the text from this book right now. Hare Krishna. Microphone for Yashoda.
Okay, what's the next phase of the program?
We're reading Acharya for the Golden Age. That's what you're reading. And,
okay, that's not what we're reading here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
We're talking about a booklet called Our Living Guru.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Question
Go ahead.
1.5. Question, but isn't it also said somewhere that everyone should try to become a guru? Yes. Answer, yes, in a carefully restricted sense. When Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the most magnanimous avatar or divine incarnation, appeared 5 centuries ago, he taught Amar Ajnaga Guruhan, by my order you all become gurus. Yet the explanatory purport 2 verses later, in Madhya Lila, chapter 7, text 130, Srila Prabhupada clarifies that one should preach to his friends and neighbors, instructing them in Krishna consciousness. This is called instructing or shiksha guru, a person who preaches on behalf of the eternal preceptor guru. Quote, one only has to follow the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and instruct relatives and friends in the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Similarly, Christian witness or instruct their friends and neighbors. Unfortunately, the Living Guru Project intentionally misconstrues Lord Chaitanya's instruction. They artificially assume that such preachers or witnesses are supposed to be worshipped as if they are on the same level as Jesus Christ. 1.6 question. So can we delve briefly into the meaning of eternal preceptor guru? Who and what does the eternal preceptor guru have to be? A, good as Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 2.8, Srila Prabhupada points out, help can only be given by a spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that a spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Confidential associate. As Srila Prabhupada writes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 146, the spiritual master is always considered either one of the confidential associates of Radharani, the Lord's eternal consort, or a manifested representation of Srila Nityānanda Prabhu, the Lord's direct expansion and brother, Lord Balarama. Assist the gopis. And in a letter dated 26 September 1969, Srila Prabhupada adds, on the whole, the spiritual master is an agent of Krishna. Either he is assistant to the gopis, the Lord's cowherd girlfriends, or assistant to the coward boy. He is on the level of Krishna. That is the verdict of all scriptures. Krishna is worshipable God, and the spiritual master is worshiper God. Sees Krishna. Also, as Srila Prabhupada notes in Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23, Ashtottara Sata, a reference to the 108 gopis, is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one situated in Shuddha Sattva, or in the transcendental state of Vasudeva. Only in the Shuddha Sattva state, writes Srila Prabhupada, in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.19, can one always see Krishna eye to eye by dint of pure affection for the Lord. Everything within this material world is fully manifested to a devotee who has seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavad Gita therefore advises, Tadvidhi pranipatena, Srimad Bhagavatam 8.6.9, always thinks of Krishna. Those who are actually pure devotees are celebrated as Mahatmas, or great sages, personalities perfect in knowledge. They always think of the Supreme Lord and his lotus feet, and thus they become automatically liberated from Krishna book, chapter 86. Quote, as the devotees always think of Krishna within their hearts, Krishna also always thinks of his devotees within himself. Krishna book, chapter 47. Then we have a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, quote, the pure devotee is always absorbed in thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, respected as God is. In the Science of Self-Realization chapter, What is a Guru? Srila Prabhupada points out, because he's the most confidential servitor of God, the Guru is offered the same respect that we offer God, directly empowered. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya-lila, Srila Prabhupada writes this, quote, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that unless one is directly empowered by the causeless mercy of Krishna, one cannot become the spiritual master of the entire world, Jagat Guru. One cannot become an acharya simply by mental speculation. The true acharya presents Krishna to everyone by preaching the holy name of the Lord throughout the world. Thus, the conditioned souls purified by chanting the holy name are liberated from the blazing fire of material existence. In this way, spiritual benefit grows increasingly full, like the waxing moon in the sky. Back to you in the studio. We will continue this section on Saturday morning. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Haribol, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. And before we move into a couple of questions and then the next lecture, I wanted to mention that one of the things that your parents always wanted you to do when you were growing up is pick good association, correct? They were worried if you went with people that smoked cigarettes, for example, then when you came home, you started to smoke and they could smell it on your clothes. Why are you smoking cigarettes? Well, Bill smokes cigarettes. Well, don't smoke cigarettes. Don't associate with him. Because there's an influence that we get when we associate with bad people. You associate with bad people, you get bad habits. You associate with devotees, that's the whole idea, and you develop good habits. Prabhupada created the ISKCON movement. You know, the movement was a glorious movement. It really was. It was a movement of very enthusiastic people. And when you see all the pictures that we show in our program and all the success that our program, that the movement was experiencing with Prabhupada personally with us, we can understand how potent he really was. And all he was doing, not all, no, I don't want to minimize it, was giving good association and setting an example. Like, for example, you look at those videos online and you see Prabhupada chanting japa. So they've taken the camera and they go into his room in New York City or in Los Angeles. And what do you see? You see him walking around chanting with his bead bag. Prabhupada was setting the example for us personally, and not a show bottle example, a true example of a great personality. Whatever great men do, common men will follow. Whatever standards they set by exemplary acts, Krishna explains that in the Gita, the whole world pursues. So this process is done through association with the pure devotee. And that people say, well, someone said to me online the other day, Yashoda, all you do is repeat what Prabhupada said. You shouldn't do that. I was scared. Well, you know what I said to them? Who's your guru, by the way? Can you tell me who taught you this? How you don't understand a word of this philosophy because you're hearing it from somebody that doesn't understand how to teach you what is this philosophy, and that's what our goal is. Mother Ruchisha Devi Dasa, yes. You're up on the screen here, Rama. She's a star on the screen today. What's the question?
I want to say how Prabhupada's books are great, and I get many, many answers. When I have answers, I pick up Prabhupada books and I always get answers. And this week I get a phone call from a god sister, and she went to the temple, Radha Manohar Temple in Montreal, because she was very curious. There was a visit, a senior devotee was there visiting. So she was very surprised. He's a sannyasi and he have a girlfriend now. So he gave a class and she put her hands up and she asked, what about the changes that happened in the ISKCON? And he stopped, not to talk no more. He said everything changed. So she was very surprised to get that answer. She didn't expect that. But I think it's the way, like Yasodanandana says always, when you ask them real question, they don't answer. And I was studying Chaitanya Bhagavata, Madhyakanda, chapter 4 this week. And I just get that, I tell her, they don't read Prabhupada's books. They don't follow Prabhupada's instructions, so they cannot give anything. And in that text, 1969, they talk about Nityānanda, who is the representative of Srila Prabhupada, is representative of the spiritual master Nityānanda. And it is right, Najaniya Ninde Taracharitra Agada Payahu Vishnu Bhakti Ayatara Vada. The progress of anyone who blasphemes him, the spiritual master, without understanding the depth of his characteristic is obstructed even if he achieves devotional service to Vishnu. So that gave me a very good answer about they all fall down one after the other. All after the other.
Multiple fall downs.
Yeah, we get surprised every week. And the Hindu temple.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Oh, yes.
It's
a reaction.
Exactly, Mother. And the fact of the matter is, our job is to try to help others not be misled by these people, these imposters, who are proving their incompetency ongoing, but at the same time,
we
will
work on
not relinquish their ambitions. And that's unfortunate.
Very.
That's very unfortunate. I'm going to speak personally, Rob Raghava. Do I think that I can change my godbrother Bhagavan? We're corresponding, and Romeshwar, they notice us, what we're doing. But when you see their posts in the different social medias and you hear their comments and that, it appears they've floated off into their own individual worlds of ambition, whatever it is. And it's going to be difficult. Let's put it this way. If you look at our Vyas Puja book from last week, the majority of the people that sent in the offerings are new people. That's it. And, you know, we want senior devotees by age and time, and we want the new people. And all of the people that are taking this up and accepting their roles as Prabhupada disciples with us and committing to protect the legacy moving forward is the proof that this process is bona fide. How can you get initiation from a dead guru? That's what they say. Well, that's because you don't. That's because you're a deadhead. You have no idea how Prabhupada is living in sound. Mother Shreya, she had her hand up. Go ahead, Mother. You want to make a comment before we go to the lecture? Please, go ahead. She's in Bangalore.
I wanted to say thank
Yes,
you so
please.
much for saying those facts which are very important for today's generation. When you mentioned that we need to be associated with the right group of people, children today don't recognize what is correct. They don't know to identify what is good. They think intoxication is good, and so they get misled. So when you brought that up, it is a shout out to all of the parent community to know how to help their children identify what is good. And to all of the children who think that their parents do not know, we have senior parents, we have senior devotees, we have senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada telling us what is good. So I want everybody to hear that and follow by experiential guidance. It is not that you're just saying it because you know it or you heard it, but it's because you have lived as an example of Srila Prabhupada's teachings. That's all, Prabhu. Thank you.
Nityānanda, Prabhu, do you want to make a comment on these comments, please? Microphone.
Is it please?
Go ahead.
Can somebody summarize the question? I did not hear the question.
Well, she was talking about, it wasn't really a question, it was a comment. They were commenting about association, how valuable it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, definitely. That is very important. And the reason for that is given by Sanatan Goswami and Gopal Bhakta Goswami in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. There it is stated that a Vaishnava should be very careful not to associate intimately with non-Vaishnavas.
yes,
Because association is like a crystal. If you put a blue light into a crystal, it would reflect the blue light. If you put a red light through a crystal, it will reflect a red light. Similarly, when you associate with a person, you imbibe some of their qualities or faults. So that's why it's very important from Prabhupada's perspective not to associate with sahajiyas, not associate with non-devotees, not to accept foodstuff cooked by non-devotees, because you imbibe their mentality, their sinful activities. That's very important. Similarly, as one becomes more knowledgeable, he has to differentiate between different types of Vaishnavas. And this is why a lot of time we say one should not associate with sahajiyas, one should associate with sadhus, one should be very careful who he listens to, because you will be affected. And in many cases, we've seen devotees who started very nicely, but by hearing from wrong sources, they gradually give up their practices or affected. Some of them become sahajiyas. Some of them give up their spiritual practice altogether. And some of them become totally confused and mentally disturbed. We've seen this, many devotees who associate with some of the managers of the so-called institution claiming or allegedly representing Prabhupada. They have so many ideas that are not from Prabhupada. There are different interpretations and concoctions. That's why we say, do not associate with these people. Do not listen to them. Do not go to their website. Do not go to their Facebook pages. Do not listen to the deviants who have contravened and disobeyed Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Just like in this purport today, Prabhupada talked about some Goswamis, caste Goswamis, who've introduced demigod worship. Well, in ISKCON, some of these mismanagers have introduced some so-called demigod worship too. They've introduced all kinds of concoction. They've introduced the worship of unauthorized persons on the altar. They've introduced concoction like Hare Ramo, or all these nonsense kirtans that they're doing. This will pollute your Krishna consciousness. This will disturb your bhakti. That's all I can say for now. Association is very important. Yes,
I've got a story for all of you in terms of association, directly in regards to the Gaudiya Math. And then we'll move on to the lecture, but I'm going to tell this story because it's relevant. Professor Joseph O'Connell, who is the professor of Vaishnava studies at the University of Toronto, was a friend of mine. And he would have me speak at the university every year on Krishna consciousness because he would come by the temple and talk, and he enjoyed it. He wasn't really a devotee in the terms of understanding the philosophy, but he was intellectually interested. Okay, fair enough. He invited Ban Maharaj to come to Toronto. I can still remember riding over in this old 1974 Volvo, two-door Volvo, in a snowstorm, and we got in a little smash up. Uddhama was driving. He was a useless driver. So anyway, we got there and we associated with him. I can see the house now. We paid our obeisances. We had no idea what it meant. When Prabhupada found out, we had no idea. I was of the disposition, I thought. I had his copy of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, if you recall. It was a blue nectar of devotion. And he had written that. And I had it in my collection back at the Toronto Temple. I thought, gee, this is phenomenal. We're with a Prabhupada godbrother of his. So we went over there and we met him and we were offered all respect. And then we invited him to come to the Toronto Temple and give the Sunday Feast lecture. Oh. And he came to the temple. It was a small house on Gerrard Street. And it was a good crowd there. He was a celebrity. And in the middle of the talk, he started to weep these tears of ecstasy, pretending he was at some kind of high level of spiritual bliss. Oh, wow. But then all of a sudden we realized this is Sahajiya behavior. And we all got up and left the temple room. I can remember standing in the hallway. If you remember the Toronto Temple, there was the temple and there was a staircase. We went all and stood by the staircase and walked out of the room because we detected this is not right. And then Prabhupada found out. And he sent me a letter. He said, and all of you can look at it online. You can look at letter to Vishwakarma. He said, do not associate with my godbrothers. Do not read their books. Do not have them speak in our temples. Nothing. And he asked me all kinds of questions. Did he have net beads? Did he have a danda? Did he have japa beads? He wanted to know everything, us to report to him. And then he told us, don't associate with these people. And yet people tell us, oh, that was just for you. And Prabhupada said specifically in the letter, none of my disciples should so associate with my godbrothers. So this is the point. Association is very important. And Prabhupada was strict about this. Yes, he was. I just had the experience today, Prabhus. of speaking to a devotee who is the Sankirtan leader in LA. And he's been distributing books for a couple of years. And he's a very nice fellow, Bhakta Kevin. He's a good person. But he's so confused by bad association. And I told him, if you keep doing this, you'll never be able to get peace of mind. You're so confused because association, everyone, is like crystal stone. With whoever you associate, you'll become affected by it. And we're blessed that we have many people here that are sharing association centered on Prabhupada's teachings. Yes, that's right. Association is key. And in this way, they're becoming fixed up in the proper procedures to follow in the legacy of Srila Prabhupada and not change anything. Not like this devotee said, well, you can't just repeat what Prabhupada said all the time. What? You're a nut. You're a nutball. You need help. One of these guys, this guy, Prabhu, I kind of have fun online because, we're just trying to help people. But this one fellow, he says to me, you're nothing but another Judas. You Ritvik, you. You know what I said to him, Yashoda? I said, Prabhu, do you take any pharmaceutical drugs to help you calm your mind? Are you under doctor's care? I said, what's your resume, by the way? What service have you done? Can you tell us? And of course, silence is golden. They can't answer because they've done nothing except blaspheme the devotees of the Lord who have dedicated their lives for the propagation of the Krishna consciousness movement under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we're going to move forward. We'll keep this program going. Ram Raghava, we've got another speech, a lecture by Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhu, we have a lecture by Srila Prabhupada recorded in February 1966. And it's called Purified Activities, or called Bhakti. And it's about 9 minutes long.
Well, roll it. Let's go.
Bhagavad Gita, in the chapter where the distinction between the Jiva and Ishvara is explained, Khetra Khetragya. This Khetragya has been explained that the Lord is also Khetragya, or conscious, and the Jivas, or the living beings, they are also conscious. But the difference is that a living being is conscious within his limited body, but the Lord is conscious of all bodies. Ishara sarvabhutanam riddesha arjuna tishtati. The Lord lives within the core of heart in every living being. Therefore, he is conscious of the psychic movements, activities of the Lord, of the particular Jiva. We should not forget, it is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart as Ishvara, as the controller. And he is giving direction. He is giving direction. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishya. Everyone's heart he is situated, and he gives direction to act as he desires. The living entity forgets what to do. First of all, he makes his determination to act in certain way, and then he is entangled in the actions and reactions of his own karma. But after giving up one type of body when he enters another type of body, just like we give us one kind of dress, one type of dress for another type of dress. Similarly, it is explained in this Bhagavad Gita that Bhasangsi Jinnani Jatha Vihaya, as one changes his different dresses. Similarly, the living entities, they are also changing different bodies, transmigration of the soul, and pulling on the actions and reactions of his past activities. So, these activities can be changed when a living being is in the mode of goodness, in sanity, and he understands what sort of activities he should adopt. And if he does so, then the whole action and reactions of his past activities can be changed. Therefore, karma is not eternal. Other things, out of the 5 items, Ishara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma, these 4 items are eternal, whereas the karma, the item known as karma, that is not eternal. Now, the conscious Ishara, the supreme conscious Ishara, and the difference between the supreme conscious Ishara, the Lord, and the living being is, in the present circumstances, is like this. Consciousness of both of the Lord and the living entities, they are, this consciousness is transcendent. It is not that this consciousness is generated by the association of this matter. That is a mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. We cannot. Consciousness may be perfectly reflected by the cover of material circumstances, just like light reflected through a colored glass may seem according to the color. Similarly, the consciousness of Lord, it is not materially affected. The Supreme Lord, just like Krishna, where he says that Maya Dhakkhena Prakriti, when he descends in this material world, his consciousness is not materially affected. Had his consciousness been materially affected, he was unfit to speak about the transcendental subject matter in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot say anything about the transcendental world without being free from the materially contaminated consciousness. So, the Lord was not materially contaminated. But our consciousness at the present moment is materially contaminated. So whole thing, as the Bhagavad Gita teaches, we have to purify the materially contaminated consciousness. And in that pure consciousness, the actions will be done. That will make us happy. We cannot stop. We cannot stop our activity. The activities are to be purified. And these purified activities are called bhakti. Bhakti means they appear also just like ordinary activity, but they are not contaminated activities. They are purified activities. So, an ignorant person may see that a devotee is working like an ordinary man, but a person with poor fund of knowledge, he does not know that the activities of a devotee or the activities of the Lord, they are not contaminated by the impure consciousness of matter, the impurity of the three gunas, modes of nature, a transcendental consciousness. So, our consciousness is materially contaminated, we should know.
What a depth of information coming from Srila Prabhupada back in 1966 in this lecture. It's a wealth of information because of his divine potency as a pure devotee. Then via transparent media for Krishna. And Prabhupada says here, the individual is conscious of his limited body. That's true. And Krishna is conscious of all bodies, because that is the definition of God. He knows everything. He is everywhere. He's in everything. He is the supreme powerful. And he is the supreme controller of everything. So we are insignificant sparks in this universe. And Prabhupada mentioned there, karma is not eternal. Did you hear that? That was very interesting. So a depth of information is available in hearing Prabhupada's lectures, reading his books, and associating with him and his bona fide disciples here at the Prabhupada Disciples Association, Hare Krishna Society. So thank you, everyone. We're going to go on with our next section of the program. And Ram Raghava, it is the chanting of Hare Krishna, I believe.
Yes, Prabhu, Kirtan, almost 3 minutes long with Srila Prabhupada, and followed by the 10 offenses, and then chanting japa with Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
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 Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare Rama,
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama Hare Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna Krishna,
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Rama,
Hare Hare. Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare
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 Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Rama,
Hare Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram Ram
Rama,
Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram Hare Hare
Rama
Hare Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram Hare
Rama,
Hare Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama,
Krishna Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare Rama,
Ram Hare
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 Rama,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare, Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna
Rama,
Krishna Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare Hare
Rama, Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Rama
Hare Krishna
Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare 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 Krishna
Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Rama,
Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Ram Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare, Hare
Ram Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama,
Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating in this lively discussion and reading. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, Ram Raghava Prabhu in Georgia, Bhakta Ram Singh in Oroville, California, And Rochissa Mataji, dans la belle province de Québec, dans les Laurentides ou quelque part comme ça. Rupa Goswami Prabhu in Bombay, India. Bhaktavinay in South India. Shriya Mataji in South India. Bhakta Roy in Mississippi. Krishna Katha Prabhu in San Diego, California. Bhaktin Ember Andy in St. Mary's, Alaska. And Kishore Dongre, wherever you are, and everybody participating, we greatly appreciate. Hare Krishna, Krishna Katha Prabhu, Hare Krishna. We appreciate your participation. Please come back and join us on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock a.m., corresponding to 10 o'clock Eastern Time, corresponding to East Coast of the United States. We welcome you to come hear the Bhagavad Gita. And back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Let's roll out. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Play that bass, chant your peace. Don't be shy, chant along, chant along.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.